I am a Luka fan, not a Dallas Maverick fan.
See, this the shit I'm talking about, Mars, right? Because y'all dudes know how I feel about Jason Tatum, but y'all roast me about the Celtics. Do not let this dude shit. Don't.
Nah, here, Luka not even on the Mavs. Luka's not even on the Mavs.
Last year during the playoffs, all this dude was talking about was, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, we got a shot. And Luka was on the crew. Meanwhile, I'm a Jason Tatum guy, and y'all roast me about the Celtics. Roast me.
Because Jason Tatum's on the Celtics.
So let me make sure I'm clear. So, Rodell, are you saying that you're a Laker guy now? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, we're part of the media cartel now.
See, told you.
Now, all right. So chill.
So I'm not gonna hear no more logic from you about the Dallas Mavericks. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, I feel like the difference in this situation is how Luka left the Mavs, though. It's really hard to. That's why a lot of people were saying, I'm not mad if you leave the Dallas Mavericks team, because the way they were slandering Luka's name on the way out was one of the craziest things I've seen. I think people try to compare it to like LeBron James when he left the Cleveland Cavaliers that first time. And a lot of people jumped off that ship too. So this is not just a, oh yeah, he got traded away. Okay, whatever. No, they kicked him out and then spit on his grave while he was going out. So this is hard to really like be okay with what the Mavericks are doing, considering what the owner has been saying and the GM's been saying. But I always still like appreciate the Mavs because I like Kyrie. Kyrie's redemption tour, fantastic. I am sad that Kyrie Irving got injured. I like PJ Tucker. I like Gafford. I like Lively. I like all the players.
PJ Washington.
Oh, PJ Washington, my bad. I like all the players.
Right.
But I'm not gonna root for a team that slandered my boy. That's just not happening.
So you out. So you out then.
Yeah, for
sure.
Okay,
so there's no more logic about the Dallas Mavericks. So when this crew, if you look at their roster, when this crew gets healthy and you look at their roster and next season, I don't know, they fourth in the Western Conference and they look like they could be the favorites to win the West. Are you still out?
Yeah, I'm not going to be rooting for the team, but I mean, at that point, you say when they get healthy, there's a lot of questions on what's going to happen with the Mavericks moving forward. Because one, Kyrie Irving, they're speculating, might need to get a max contract. And we saw what the owner said. They don't want to pay people. They didn't want to pay Luka of all people. So the question of them maxing Kyrie, very big question, of course. And the injury, a lot of people are speculating that it's not a situation where next season, the beginning of the season, Kyrie's coming back healthy. Now, there is a concern that he's going to be gone for a couple of months going into next season. So even when they're healthy, the question is, when will they be healthy? Will they ever be complete? And will this team even be what they are by next year, considering potential moves they have to make? So the be healthy thing is questionable at this point.
So the Kyrie Irving tore his ACL yesterday. So 9 months from today, that's December the 3rd. Kyrie Irving should be doing something. I'm thinking he'll be back on the court by December. I don't think that this is a wash season. I'm having a difficult time thinking that next season Kyrie Irving is not playing the whole season. That's number one. Number two, he's got a player opt in his contract. Who's paying? I don't think that there's anybody that's paying Kyrie Irving at 32 years old coming off a major knee injury, the max of what he's trying to get. So I think he opts into this deal to get this bread. I don't think he leaves that money on the table. I think he opts in to get this bread, which means I think he'll be on the crew next year. Then you add in PJ Washington, who doesn't have a history of injury. You have Anthony Davis, who was playing almost 90% of the games this year before he got hurt. This was the same injury that he was dealing with last year. This is not an injury that's different from last year. It just got worse this year. He was dealing with it last year, and he still was awesome. Let's see. Derek Lively, who's young, he's going to be in year 3. I think you keep Gafford. I think you end up keeping Gafford, and I like the way that this roster is put together. If they were healthy today going into the playoffs, who do you like to beat them? I think every series that they play in, if they were healthy, Davis is ready, Irv is ready, Klay Thompson, all of these guys are ready. I like them in every series that they play in. Every last one of them. Does that mean that they're going to win every series? But I think they got a legit shot at winning every series that they play in.
Do they have a legit shot? I would agree. I still think that the Thunder would beat them in a series. Based on the Lakers and how they play now,
Yep.
I'm going to take the Lakers. The Nuggets, questionable because of everything going on with the rest of the roster not named Jokic. And obviously Jokic's defensive deficiencies that can be taken advantage of. But we also seen,
like the Lakers did.
Yeah. So I will still take the Nuggets. So that's 3 series. But the Mavs are 100% contenders with that defense.
Why you taking
obviously
the Nuggets?
The offense is going to be the question, especially in clutch time, especially if you blitz Kyrie Irving, who's going to be able to have the ball in their hands and make certain plays.
Yep.
Questionable. But yeah, Mavs, when they were healthy, we saw the defense they put on that sorry Houston Rockets team. It was disgusting. So I mean, I'm not mad at it. Sorry, Boris,
That was unnecessary, but I mean, I guess. Thanks.
So, fellas, February 8th, Anthony Davis suffers an adductor injury in his Mavs debut. March 3rd, Kyrie Irving goes down. Now, I have to ask you guys, because obviously these are their 2 top players. Everything's in shambles. The fans are definitely calling for Nico Harrison to be fired. What is next for the Dallas Mavericks?
To win. That's it. To win. Winning cures everything. No matter what however y'all dudes feel about what Nico Harrison did, this roster gets healthy and these guys make a deep playoff run and they end up in the NBA championship. And with some luck, they end up winning this thing. Y'all gonna forget about what happened with Luka. That thing with Luka is gonna be over. Y'all gonna forget all about that. So what has to happen with him moving off of Luka? They have to win. They have to do that. Getting to the playoffs isn't good enough. Getting to the Western Conference Championship isn't good enough. They have to win it. And the way that this roster is built, like I told you already, I think this is a 3-year window with Kyrie Irving at 32, with Anthony Davis at 32. This is a 3-year window for them to win it. Now, I know that considering what Luka is doing in Los Angeles right now, it looks like, this is a disaster. No, this doesn't have to work right now, but we do have a window where this has to work within the next 3 years. It has to.
Yeah, Chelsea, what you just mentioned right there is not focusing on your yard. You know what I mean? We can't if you in Dallas, you can't look at what's going on in LA. Like, yeah, they got some fly shit going on over there. That's dope, but you got to keep your head down and do your work. You know what I'm saying? Water your grass and keep your shit together.
Yeah, but you see the thing, Ox? They don't got one of them big tall fences. They got a picket fence. They can't help but to look and see the big ass pool in the Lakers yard.
I'm glad you brought that up.
But help to see that they got a water slide over there.
What you looking over there for? That's LA. Don't look at La La Land and compare what you got.
On top of that, the grass ain't just green and it ain't just cut and they don't just got fancy bushes and water slides and whatnot. Hey, they got people over there tanning too.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mind your business.
Nice bathing suits.
And you know how we do that, Ox? Guess what we do? We build a bigger fence. We have the means to build a fence too, and we don't got to pay attention to what's going on over there. It's not like we got a fence that's just grounded, this picket fence, and we can't move it. No, we can get a bigger fence over here. We can get focused on what we're doing. We can stay focused on what we're doing, which is what they're doing. They got a crew put together. That I think, with all intents and purposes of them being healthy, if they could stay healthy, I think that they can win.
I'm not right, exactly. That's what I'm saying though. Like, damn the fence. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to build no fence. I just need to focus on my job. Focus on my players. You know what I mean? Nico didn't tear Kyrie's ACL.
No, he didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Nico didn't do whatever happened to AD. You know what I mean? Nico just make the moves. He just bring the ingredients. Now y'all bake the cake. You know what I'm saying? So I'll still stand on the same thing I said about the trade from the beginning. Like, there's obviously a reason why they made the trade, whether we agree with it or not, whether we think it's crazy or not. There was something going on with them, and they made that happen. So now, like, to your point, Chill, now it's time to focus on next year. I don't think there's any reason for Anthony Davis to come back onto the court this season. I don't think there's any reason.
The whole thing is a wash. The whole thing.
No, just get healthy. You know what I'm saying? At this point, we got to focus on health and things like that. And next year, I mean, they come back healthy. I think they're one of the top teams in the West. So, Nico, all Nico and the Mavs got to do right now is just block out the outside noise and focus on what they're doing. Because right now, it looks terrible. if you're being short-sighted, if you're only thinking about, oh, well, LA's doing this and we're doing that. Nah, it's, life, as long as the sun keeps coming up in the morning, we're going to make it to next season. We're going to be all right. So,
one more thing, Ox, too. Nico need to get some pit bulls, Rottweilers, Greyhounds, whatever, in that backyard and front yard. He need to up his security. And
I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about you running up on me. Let me tell you why. Because once we do, to Ox's point, once we do what I think we can do, all that stuff going to go away.
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at PrizePicks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With PrizePicks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections in every single stat line imaginable to make your PrizePicks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with PrizePicks. So what are you waiting for? Download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. PrizePicks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
All of that stuff is going to go away.
I'm not going to lie.
Off of that. You are.
Chill, Ox. Y'all are making this sound like it's like better than it actually is. I'm going to be honest. Because the way that they sold the Mavs fan base, which most of them did not agree with, but the pitch that they gave them is, like you guys said, short window. One of those years from that window is absolutely gone. And we're worried about Luka staying healthy. Kyrie, AD, Lively, Gafford, all of them are getting injured. So now the pitch that you sold backfired. The two biggest points you made backfired on you. And now you gave up not only the biggest star you had since Dirk Nowitzki, but you gave up long-term success down the line with Luka, who more than likely, I think we all agree here, would have been on the team for his entire career. So
we don't know that. We can't say that for sure.
But let's speculate and say that he would have been on the crew for that long. That's why they didn't want to pay him, because they saw the future of Luka. That's why they did what they did on the way out the door, which I thought was whack. Like, if we breaking up, all right, just go. You ain't got to talk about how I was, not doing this and not doing that. We breaking up, and I'm cool with that. I got no problem with that. But this was a short-term investment anyway. And a short-term investment is not 6 months. A short-term investment is not a year. This short-term investment is 3 years. You still got Anthony Davis in his prime. You still got Kyrie Irving. He's in his prime still with a torn-up knee, which is going to improve. This is not 1987 where a torn ACL was a death sentence. That's not what's going on today. Guys come back from ACL injuries. Guys come back from Achilles injuries, and they still can play. And Kyrie Irving is one of those guys who I think will come back. Don't forget, he did crack his knee in 2015 in the NBA Finals, and he came back super sharp. So Kyrie Irving, if anybody can do it, I think that he's one of those guys who can do it. On top of that, Anthony Davis, he'll be back next season. PJ Washington, he'll be back next season. Klay Thompson, he'll be back next season. All of these guys will be back next season. With all of these guys being back next season, with that window shortening, the window still is open, Roddell. It's not like with the window shortening, all of a sudden the window is closed. Like, oh shit, Kyrie Irving is hurt. Anthony Davis is hurt. We're finished now. No, that window is still open. We still have time to do this. We just got to stay focused on the plan. I know how you feel about Luka, and I know that he's a generational talent and the kind of money that he would have brought in and the star that he was. I can appreciate that. But what's the ultimate goal here when you talk about the Dallas Mavericks? Winning. That's all they care about in Dallas. Winning. And if they win within the next 3 years, this isn't going to be nearly as bad as we think it is. It's not going to be.
Like I said, I like Kyrie now, the redemption arc. Love Kyrie, love everything that he's been doing on the Mavericks. There's also has to be a worry that Kyrie, when he comes back, is not going to be the same Kyrie too. Mm-hmm. Because even though medicine's getting better, it's still a major injury. Mm-hmm. And also, Kyrie Irving, before he got injured, was taking so much of a load on that offense. that Kyrie was in the conversation to be a first-team All-Pro. And if they were winning more games, he could have potentially be a MVP candidate. Mars' favorite term, in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But Kyrie Irving was balling out. He was cooking when it comes to scoring and creating his own baskets. And he was doing a pretty good job in terms of playmaking for the rest of the team. Now, coming off an ACL injury, the expectation is Kyrie's going to be able to carry the load that much on this Mavericks team. That's hard to sell. That's hard to sell, especially depending on what the roster will look like next year. So I don't know. It's such an uphill battle for the Mavs to even be in contention to be a contender next year moving forward and years moving forward with the injury, with the contract, with what the rest of the roster is going to look like. I mean, this is glass half empty type feeling for me. I don't know how people are looking.
How would you feel? How would you feel about the Mavericks right now if they still had Luka, but Kyrie has towards ACL? So if it was Luka out there, no Kyrie, no Gafford, no Lively, no Kyrie, no Gafford, no Lively, and it was just Luka and the rest of the squad, would you feel like they were a playoff team? Were they a contender or what?
Oh, Luke, without Kyrie, the Mavericks this year would have been a playoff team, but probably
without Kyrie, without Lively, and without Gafford.
I'll say play in then. Play in if you're including all the players. I think they'll be a play-in team, potentially make the playoffs still. That is a lot of injuries. Their big man depth is disgusting. I've already criticized Dwight Powell being one of the worst basketball players in the NBA constantly. So it's not great. With that said, at the very least, they still have a future.
No Max Christie either.
Yeah. At the very least, they still have a future. Kyrie, if he comes back, wouldn't have to have that offensive load. And a huge part of it is the bargaining chip potentially getting that big player in the free agency, Kevin Durant. Because if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm looking at this Mavericks team in the offseason. I'm like, 80 injured, Kyrie injured. I don't know. If Luka was still there, it's like, okay, I could still come back for Luka, and then Kyrie comes here. 80 and Kyrie, what they looking like right now, I don't know if free agents are looking at the Mavericks like, yeah, that's dysfunctional. I'm not going over there. So there's a lot more things to, at the very look positively at, despite the injuries, compared to now. You got 2 years, man.
2 years.
All right, my
okay.
man.
That's what kind of time you giving me? 2 years. Okay.
You back good, King?
Yeah, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, you hot?
Okay, yeah, they switched my mic settings. Appreciate you guys for having me on. So my thoughts on this, last time I came on, I will say the Mavericks were still banged up. I'm pretty sure the last time I was on, Gafford was out, or Lively was out, Luka was still out. So they were still banged up. But it's just crazy to see, like, they were in the NBA Finals competing for a title. Some people had the Mavericks to go back to the finals. Some people had them to make a deep playoff run. Then they make this crazy trade out of nowhere. And then it's like, okay, everybody hates the GM, whatever the case may be. And then AD plays, 2-3 quarters, he gets hurt. Gafford gets hurt. Lively's already out. Now Kyrie tears his ACL. I cannot believe this, bro. Like, talk about they have like a black cloud over them. I don't know what happened, but they got the injury bug bad this year.
They cursed?
You could say this season. I'm not going to say they're a cursed franchise, but yeah, you could say this season. That's crazy, man. Can't believe that. I would say the best thing that they could do, shut AD down. Don't even let him come back. Just tank for the rest of the season.
Which is what they're going to do anyway.
Do they have their first round pick this year?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So then, yeah, you might as well do that then.
There's no reason for these guys. I mean, I think they're in the 10th spot right now. They're not making the playoffs.
No, they're not.
Irv is done. And even if they were to compete in the play-in tournament, they're not going far.
Nope.
So because of that, I mean, what's the point in having any of these guys out here? Just get ready for next season.
Absolutely.
Which, if you got ready for next season, like I said, Gafford to be available. Not only will Gafford be available, Lively will be ready. He has the whole offseason to get correct. Not only does he have the whole offseason to get correct, Anthony Davis will be in better shape next season, or he'll be in great shape next season. All of these guys, I feel like, will be ready. I understand the setback of Kyrie Irving, at 32 years old. Because I've seen guys getting hurt. I mean, Kevin Durant, what was he, 29 when he tore his ACL? Achilles, when he was 29, and then that hamstring injury. Like, Kyrie Irving he doesn't have a history of major injuries. He cracked his knee in 15. That was 10 years ago, right? That was since then it's been nagging things. And can he come back from this? I'm only looking at this isn't a 5 or 6 year project. I got Kyrie Irving for probably 2 more years, and I can appreciate where we are with the money, but there's no reason for him to leave that money on the table and go test the free agency market with a torn ACL. I think he'd be putting himself in a real bind if he did that.
Right. And Chill, here's the unfair thing. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just agreeing. Go ahead, you got it.
Oh, yeah. Here's the unfair thing. The more, I mean, I guess it's over now, but the more that they got hurt, the worse it looks for Nico Harrison, and that's not fair. That's not fair at all. Well, they're gonna blame him as if he got them hurt or something.
Right, they already are. But the thing about it is too, like, once again, we already said, you know, give him some time next year. Once after Kyrie's surgery and all that, you know, leave AD off the floor. The thing about it though is, I think a lot of the youth are really upset because when you haven't been alive that long, a year seems like so long. It's like it's never gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's a year, it's over. You know what I'm saying? But once you've lived enough years, you'll be like, oh, it's just, you know, it's a year. It'll be okay. Give it some time. You know what I mean? So I think Dallas's best, you know, their best bet right now is just to exercise patience and just don't rush. Don't try to force anybody to play too fast. Don't end up in a Joel Embiid situation. Just calm down, and you know, Nico, you already made the moves. You know, the moves already been made. Luka's gone, so right now it's just about making the best out of the situation.
What's going to compound this is if what happens with the Lakers is what everybody thinks is going to happen. So let's say the Lakers end up in the NBA championship. This is going to make this look even worse. This is going to make this look even worse because what it's going to remind everybody of, what's going to remind me of in particular, is when the Lakers traded Shaq, and then 2 years later, they in the NBA championship and they win the NBA championship. Even though the Lakers ended up going with the young guy and Bryant. See what you guys did? We could have still been winning championships if Shaq was still here. We could have still been doing this if Shaq was still here. Look what you guys did. Well, if Luka ends up going to the Lakers and they end up in the NBA championship and the Dallas Mavericks don't make the playoffs, it's just going to compound this thing, which is why over the next 2 to 3 years, they have to win because people completely forget about after the Lakers won back-to-back that Shaq was traded. They forgot about that. Like, Shaq was traded. He was first team All-Pro. They won the NBA championship the next year. They forgot about the fact that he was traded because Kobe was still there, and they ended up winning the championship in back-to-back seasons. So all was forgiven. But with what the Lakers are doing right now, I mean, if we're being honest, Ron, more times than not, you're not going to get 65 and 20 from your 2 best players. I don't think that's going to happen. But, I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to have, right? You know, if I drive a Ferrari, I ain't going to take the Ferrari to the freeway and stand on the gas, but I can push this bitch up to 180 every once in a while. It's a cool thing to have. It's kind of like what's going on with the Lakers right now. So I think it's going to end up making it worse.
With that, though, like with what you just said, like every now and then you can push it up to 180. Typically, with them, every time they get in the car on the freeway, they liable to hit 180. On any given night, Luka and LeBron could go 30 for 30. Y'all remember the little ESPN documentaries? Y'all remember that? It could be a 30 for 30 special for them.
Is that realistic, Ron?
Chill. They made that look so easy last night. And I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, it was just against the Pelicans.
Right.
Y'all know Luka good for 30 on any given night. And LeBron that we seeing right now, he good for 40 any given night. So it's like, just get used to it.
Yeah, the Lakers are doing something great. Wouldn't have imagined me rooting for the Lakers. I'm being honest.
Hold on for 1 second. This is such a crock right here because KD had a major injury. After his major injury, he didn't have another major injury. That's not what was going on with KD. That's not what happened with him. He had minor injuries after that. And they kept him out of the lineup because he was getting older. With Kyrie Irving, he had a major injury, and he's got enough time to recover from this injury on a damn good team. So it's not the same thing. It's not biased. Give me a break.
To be fair, Chill, when KD got his major injury on the Warriors and when he came back, obviously he was still KD, still great, but he obviously didn't move the same. He wasn't attacking as much. He didn't have that as quick of a drive to the lane, of course. Kyrie Irving, a big part of his game is his shiftiness, being able to change directions, being able to attack the basket. For Kyrie in particular, this is a not good, and this is more problematic considering the load and considering his play style. So I think I would be really worried for Kyrie Irving having this injury on a team where he has this much of an offensive responsibility on a Mavericks team that doesn't have ball handlers that can consistently play make on the team right now.
Do it. We'll see if he can come back. I think he can. We'll see if he can come back and be just as sharp.
And y'all brought up Nico Harrison a couple different times and said he's not at fault, or that is he didn't tear Kyrie's ACL, which he didn't.
He didn't.
Kyrie's ACL was torn off of a play that he made, and he just didn't land right. But you do have to put some things into context. You trade away your secondary ball handler or primary ball handler, who Kyrie was playing off. You trade him for somebody that is injury prone and has a history of injuries. He gets hurt the first night. In that period of time, when AD goes down, Kyrie all of a sudden, in an attempt to keep the franchise above water, plays the most minutes in the NBA. He's already aging. We know Kyrie's history. He's already aging. He already has an injury history, and you up his workload.
Okay, so stop right there, Ron.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jay Kidd's. I'm not saying Jay Kidd's at fault for this. I'm not saying Nico's at fault for this, but you
Jay Kidd
What were they
definitely
supposed to
got
do? What were they supposed to
This
do?
gotta make me nuts, man. Because you got
Jay Kidd playing his players, Ron. Somebody got to play. Being hurt, you get hurt. You get hurt. That's just
But
part
to
of it.
spike
It's
his
not
minutes?
Jay Kidd's fault.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
the,
spike
last,
his minutes?
it's the back
He
half
the
of the
best.
season.
Somebody got to play, Ron.
Yeah, and you got a bench. Najee Marshall can run point.
He can, but
Dante
come
Exum
on.
can run point. I'm just saying, like, and I don't want to make it seem nasty, like they ran him into the ground. But
that's what it sounds like.
when
That's what
AD
it
went
sound
down, when AD went down, his minutes spiked. And you're asking Kyrie to carry the full load for the team and win games for you. It's just is it a coincidence?
Ox, you as a baller, more than anything as a ball player, where do you want to be, Ox?
On the floor.
On the floor, Ron. These dudes want to play. Do you think that these dudes is like, man, damn, I got to play 35 minutes tonight. Hell yeah, these dudes want to play every
chill.
minute.
And that's why they just sent through that super chat. Saying that you don't keep the same consistency because you're the same person saying Kyrie wants to play, so play him 40 minutes. But now with AD, all of a sudden the logic clicks on in your brain, and you're like, sit him for the rest of the season and exercise patience, and we'll wait next year to win. So if that's the case, let's play AD.
There's no reason for AD to play.
Why is AD playing, Ron? This season, why is AD playing?
You were playing, Ron. You were playing Kyrie because you were expecting AD to be back soon.
That's why. So none of these dudes are coming back. And
I understand that.
Do you think that Anthony Davis doesn't want to play?
Not the same thing.
If Anthony Davis was healthy enough to play, he definitely wants to play. He wants to be on the floor for 35. He does not want to sit on the sideline, especially having to listen to people like us talk about him that he's made of glass and he's day-to-day Davis. He absolutely wants to kill that narrative. 100% he does. That's just not fair, Ron. No.
I know it's not fair, but you're gonna sit down AD because you want him to be healthy for next season. The thing I'm trying to say is you didn't have to play Kyrie 40 minutes a night.
Ron, we still was in contention.
I understand that. You didn't have to play Kyrie 40 minutes a night, though.
How much would you have played him?
It was like 5 minutes into the game when he got hurt.
I understand.
That's true too.
Which means that could have happened with Luka. That could have happened with Anthony.
And it would happen in the fourth quarter.
Injuries can happen on any given night. Obviously, he could have did that on a night where they were blowing somebody out, and he only played 23 minutes. But it is such a thing.
Hurt himself in his condo.
It is such a thing as wear and tear. That is a thing.
I'm just asking a question because I don't know. I'm gonna ask a question. Were you guys this patient with when Tom Thibodeau plays his players so many minutes? Did you guys think that hey, it's okay, they want to play, or was there somewhat of a backlash? You say what?
We talk about that all the time. We do, and to your point, we do a lot of times say like, "Damn, Tom, like you know what I'm saying." You can give Josh Hart a rest. You know what I'm saying, Mikal. But at the same time, I do believe that Josh Hart, Mikal, OG, Jalen Brunson, I believe they want to play basketball.
Yeah, and I
To
think that's
answer that
fine.
question, Tom
And
Thibodeau's
why
idiot.
not have them on the floor?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, especially when it's a situation where it's like up in the air. Like Kyrie Irving, there's no denying he's been put on so much pressure. The responsibility he's been giving, I'm sure he did not think that this was going to be a thing coming into the season. So he's a guy that we know has injury issues. He's a guy that's in his 30s, of course. He's a guy that previously was taking a backseat to Luka as a ball handler and playmaker. Now he's on a team where he's the main offensive responsibility, in addition to the injury issues that he had in the past. And now he's playing more minutes. And now he has all the pressure of carrying a Mavericks team that was in the finals last year because of the microscope they have because of what happened with the Luka Doncic trade. That's a lot of responsibility for a man who didn't expect to be the number one on the team.
Right. But don't, I mean, and another point too, because that's just like when we had Austin up here, not yesterday, but the time before. I believe that was Austin, right? I think we were talking about Thibodeau. And he was like, whoa, like, no. You're not gonna find any player in the locker room to say, take me out, coach, you're playing me too much. You know what I mean? So just coming from that standpoint too, just as a pro baller like Austin Day is, you know what I'm saying? He even like, bro, if you play me 48 minutes, play me 48 minutes. Like I'm trying to play. So
And Rodell,
to
just
your
so you
point.
know, James Harden averages 35 minutes a game this season on average. LeBron James averages 35 minutes a game on average. Joker averages 35 minutes a game on average. That means that there's some nights that he's playing 38, 39 minutes. The best players in the game, they're playing.
Yeah.
And the idea of upping guys' minutes, especially when the playoff starts, that's part of it. That's why you do what you do in the offseason. That's why you eat the way you do. That's why you train the way you do, because you're prepared to play these many minutes. I think that we live in a space now where guys want to do more, guys want to do less, and it kind of like what happened with Curry. I mean, I think the year Curry won the league MVP, I want to say 16. I think Curry played like 32 minutes a game. The year that Giannis won the league MVP in 20, I think he averaged like 33 minutes a game. The best players in the game, however, are playing heavy minutes. That's just part of being the best player in the game. You're not going to play rotation minutes. You're not going to play a little bit of minutes. You're going to play a lot of minutes, and that's going to increase once the playoffs start because that's the demand on you. So I'm not going to these guys aren't going to shy away from having to play heavy minutes. Kyrie Irving isn't looking at Jason Kidd going, damn, yo, all right, now I got to play 38 minutes tonight. Now I got to play 40 minutes. Kyrie is like, unless I'm tired, don't take me out.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. The player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.